we continue with our next talk. So we have Dr. Satish Khadirkar with us. He'll be giving us an overview on limb-girdle muscular dystrophy and other dystrophies as well. He's a professor and head Department of Neurology at Bombay Hospital, Institute of Medical Sciences in Mumbai. He's a consultant neurologist there, and he's president of Indian Academy of Neurology. And he has given a wonderful message to our society that there is tremendous amount of worldwide interest in these conditions and therapies are being developed. They aim at replacing the defective protein or enzyme. It is very important for patients to stay abreast with the development in the field, avoid using unproven treatment methods, and continue physical therapies. So I hand over to Dr. Satish with this message.
Good afternoon. First of all, thank you very much for asking me to be here. And this is the first time that I am sort of coming in contact with the Ayush Kama Foundation. I do not know the office bearers, but I'm very happy that you're all working for muscular dystrophies.
Yes, sir. We are here in Delhi.
Yeah. So just a little bit of information. Who are the listeners? They are patients mainly?
Yes, sir. So today we have patients and families, and we have few medical professionals with us.
Very nice. And the medical professionals are neurology doctors, or they are?
No, not specific.
I see some very well-known names like Shefali Gulati there.
Yes, sir.
So of course they are speakers. So what I would do, I think in the 15 to 20 minutes time that you think I should talk.
Yes, sir.
Let me give a little overview for 10 minutes and we'll keep 10 minutes for Q&A. Will that be better for you?
Yes, sir. Yes. Yeah, definitely.
I have, over these years, I have found that people have questions and answering them is more relevant than giving a monologue.
Yeah, Q&A is really interesting always. So we can do that.
And also, Mr. Mittal, I'm sorry that the question answers for you coming afterwards, but it's just a crunch of time.
No, Dr. Saab, please continue. I'm looking forward to hear you.
So let's sort of give a little overview of what are limb-girdle muscular dystrophies. Firstly, let me say that limb-girdle muscular dystrophies are quite common in India. Why are they common? And that goes back to the way we are. Meaning thereby, even though we are a country of 1.3 billion people, within this mass of 1.3 billion, we are segregated and further segregated and further segregated by the caste and the creed and the community and what have you. So even though we are so many, our genetic pools are divided. Like a Brahmin will marry a Brahmin, a Patel will marry a Patel. That's how we are. So within our large country, we have got these small genetic Indias, I call them. And therefore, what happens is, because there's a limited pool of genes that is moving in that community, genetic disorders, which are called autosomal diseases, become more common. Now, so often in so many communities in India, you find that there are cousin marriages. Now, cousin marriages are direct harbingers of these diseases. So the way we are organized in our marriage systems, customs, and things like that, these genetic diseases become more common. And therefore, limb-girdle muscular dystrophies, which are autosomal recessive or autosomal dominant, become very common. Now, this is something that's very important for us to understand, because if we want to prevent these diseases, we have to first understand what causes them. So I think this genetic pooling is the key that we have to understand. Secondly, technically, the recessive diseases are far more common than the dominant diseases. This is a medical fact. But therefore, what is called commonly LGMD2B, LGMD2 will be commoner than LGMD1. And a lot of you who are suffering will be suffering from LGMD2 because that transmission is commoner. Now, as you all know, genetics has taken off. And there is so much available that at least 3 dozen subtypes of limb-girdle muscular dystrophies exist, and they run out of A to Z letters. They started with LGMD 2A and 2B and 2C. They run out, they've gone up to Z, and they've again started a new nomenclature. So there are so many diseases there. One very good thing has happened. Let's say when we started doing the genetics, we had to ask for one gene, and the researcher will have to work for months together to get that gene, and they'll say, oh doctor, this gene doesn't exist in this patient. We say, okay, please, will you do a second one, will you do a third one? That way we have to go. Now the steps are such that today in our lab in Mumbai, we test for 6,000 genes at the same time. That covers all the known genes. So the turnover time has become much less now. Within a few weeks' time, a patient can know his genetic diagnosis. Now, that's nice. That's a victory. I mean, you know exactly what the fault is, and then you can take steps for prevention and take steps, other steps. But the problem is that we haven't as yet understood how these genes translate into the disease. How does a faulty gene, what does it do? It changes an enzyme. What does it do? It changes a protein. Most of them change proteins. They're called proteinopathies. And therefore, they weaken the skeleton of the muscle. And therefore, they produce muscle problems. But there are lots of missing links in this chain of how a bad gene results in a weak patient. And I think the efforts are directed at the moment into finding out how this chain works, so that then you will be able to work either backwards or forwards to try and control this. Now, have we been successful at all in any of the limb-girdle muscular dystrophies? We seem to have started understanding them more, and every few years we know more. Like, take example of a myopathy called GNE myopathy, which is common in India, where we know that it's a sialic acid that is low. We know that sialic acid can be given. When sialic acid is given, laboratory animals improve. So a lot of these, uh, the chain components are being unraveled. A huge thrust on genetic engineering is coming, whereby with a virus vector, you send in a fragment of the gene, and then that gene starts doing the things that you want your normal genes to do. So I think if I was to sum up the limb-girdle muscular dystrophies, one is to understand their causation, the genetics behind it, and try and do whatever you can as a community to prevent that from happening, which is usually avoiding cousin marriages, making sure when feasible what the genetic makeup is if you know the disease. The genetic advances will finally lead to treatments of this disease. Till that time, I think you have to keep the patient mobile. And to do that, at the moment, it is physiotherapy, orthotics, and it's a specialized field. It's not that everybody will be able to tell you what is your best physiotherapy. So it's important for a group like Ayush Kama to have physiotherapists who work for muscular dystrophies and then send them to the patient or contact them with the patient so that they get the right treatment. There are two more points that I will make. That worldwide, there are patient associations now which are on the web, and now with the web, world is a big village. So you can come to know what's happening in which part of the world. So once you have a genetic diagnosis, please be a member of that group, worldwide group, so that you keep on getting the latest advances and you don't go in any wrong direction. Like there's so many people who go in this stem cell direction, where stem cell hasn't advanced as yet. It may advance, it's a big therapy, but as yet it hasn't advanced. So go to a good group, stick to that good group's advice. That's very important. And the last point I want to make is about this patient foundation. And I said in the beginning that I have not come in contact with them till today, and I'm very happy to be in contact with them today. Please believe me, I've been working in Bombay now for more than 4 decades in muscular dystrophy. The strength is not the medical people. The strength is the patient group. please, please understand that the strength is the patient group. You have to direct the efforts. See, like I am a neurologist. Every day I see patients of all kinds of neurological disease. How much focus can I give on a type of muscular dystrophy? Very little. I may want to, but where is the time? India has shortage of doctors. But a patient group has one aim, to help that particular group. So I think please arrange your funds, please get funds, and please direct research personnel to come to you and say, okay, look, we have funds. Please try and help this disease so that they can focus on that particular disease or two diseases, three diseases. A researcher will have to focus for many years to be able to get anywhere. And for that, he has to get funds. And that has been our bane. We haven't got funds up till now. So it's the patient group movement supported by the research personnel and the medical personnel, which will actually carry things through. So that's the real message. Actually. Medical knowledge is plentiful. Some of the best doctors in the world are here. Some of the best researchers in the world are here. Some of the best social workers are here. You have to bring everybody together so that your group becomes very active. So in essence, that's all that I actually wanted to say. If you want me to elaborate anything, I'm quite happy. I can go on for hours on any part of this talk.
That
But I
was
think we'll
great.
take questions.
Yeah, that was really great to hear from you, and it's really inspiring for me as an organization managing member. And I really feel that there is a need to unite everybody together. And currently, like you said, that we need to connect to our international advocacy groups as so we have clinical trials, they need that database to approach us. So that we are definitely connecting with Treat NMD as well. And they are a great help. And also, sir, I had one query that like you were talking about to stop the disease multiplication, we need to look forward to specific, like we should not do cousin marriages and all. So also should we focus like cousin marriages? Definitely we have to avoid. Do we also avoid marriages in the same caste, or is it like
Yeah, I'll give you the medical overview because then
okay?
the social aspect is something that's completely different in our country.
Yeah, yeah. Medical overview I'm
But the
asking.
medical overview is like this, that the smaller the genetic pool, more the problems. So those communities that are small have more chance of getting a diseased offspring
Yeah.
because the parents will be carrying half the bad gene. To put it simply, for people who are not medical, father carries a bad gene, mother carries a bad gene. When both the bad gene comes together, then the offspring gets a disease. Mother and father do not get the disease because they're only carrying half the gene. They don't get the disease. They are normal.
Very right.
Now, the prevalence of these bad genes is more in small genetic pools. So if both parents come from the same genetic pool, then it's more likely that they will both be carrying one each and therefore the offspring will get it. So cousin marriages, community marriages, distant relatives all increase this potential. So medically, I think they are not such a good thing to do.
Like we
But
are
then there
getting a
is-
lot of Agarwal community members to have calpain 3 mutation. So all of I feel that all my warriors with Agarwal community have calpain.
Thank you very much for saying that. I am the person who discovered the gene of calpain in Agarwals.
Oh, that okay. I didn't know that. That is great. I was diagnosed with this when one of doctor from Gangaram said, if you are an Agarwal, please go for calpain 3 test only.
I know who the doctor
So
is. That is Dr. I.C.
Sujata,
Verma.
IC Verma and
IC,
Dr.
IC
Sujata
Verma's
Sane.
team.
Yeah,
And they
yeah,
took after we diagnosed it, we gave it to everyone. So
yeah.
IC Verma took the knowledge from us. I mean,
Okay.
knowledge must be shared.
Yeah, sure.
So Agarwal, you are in Agarwal?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. Okay. So can I say something about the Agarwals? There must be
Sure.
more Agarwals here.
Sure.
There, of
Sure.
course, Mr. Mittal is here.
Yeah.
So basically, I mean, just to tell this to non-Agarwal, Agarwals will know this. There are only 18 Gotras
Okay.
and they marry within each other. And what do they see? The bride's father's Gotra and the groom's father's Gotra.
Yeah.
But there is a mother on each side.
Yeah.
So often the mother is coming from the same Gotra.
Hmm.
No
That
one
is
looks
same.
at the four Gotras.
Hmm.
Why they don't look at the four? Because if they start looking at four, they will never get a match.
Yeah.
Why does that happen? Because there are only 18. So communities where Gotras are few, this problem comes. They start taking shortcuts.
Yeah.
They will see only two Gotras. Sometimes they'll say we are modern, no need to see anything. So that is the reason why calpainopathy is common in Agarwal, and there are two founder mutations which we have found, and only the two will keep alternating. So within calpainopathy in Agarwal, there are only two gene faults. So if you have a calpainopathy in Agarwal, you practically know what it is. See, very frankly, we published some literature on that when Agarwal came with a muscular dystrophy, we did only the founder mutation test. We didn't do any other test. And there's a 90% yield that you will get the diagnosis.
Yeah.
And the same is true for GNE myopathy among the Rajasthanis. Rajasthanis have a particular homozygous mutation. And there are so many such examples. So this is, Agarwal is a concrete example. And there are, for your information, at least 4 different diseases that have founder mutations amongst Agarwals. One is a brain disease, one is a balance disease, cerebellar disease, and the fourth I'm forgetting. There are 4 diseases that go in Agarwal. So that happens because of this marriage system. So this is an example.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, doctor. So there's one more question from Mr. Surya.
One more question.
He's asking, is there any free project coming for genetic testing in like NGS, WGS, WES, focused exam in your like hospital or your community? Like AIMS is going forward for it, but do you have any more information about it?
Can I be plain and direct?
Yeah.
Please don't expect anything free.
Yes. Sure.
Get your resources. If you're going to wait for somebody to give it free, it will not happen. It will happen for only a small number. How much grant can you get in this country? You know, for a dysferlin, which is a muscular dystrophy, for 7 years, I got a grant from a US source and we did it free. That stopped. Everything that is free someday is going to stop. And it's
You're on mute, sir. Yeah.
so sorry. As I was saying, anyone who tries to get free stuff will be able to get it for a few and for a limited time period. It will never run for everybody. Please don't wait for free projects. They don't exist. Get your money together. See, also these other projects that are free, you have no control over when the reports will come.
Yeah.
It may take a year, it may take 2 years, it may be no good for you.
Also, the question is that few people have invested their money and got it tested, but ultimately the problem is that they get inconclusive test reports saying that 6 genes are worse.
Right. This is a very good question. This is asked by a doctor or a patient?
No, patient.
Very nice. Very nice.
Yeah.
See, genetics is complicated and we are only scratching the surface. We only know some clean-cut transmissions. We don't know all of them. And therefore, such patients exist where you get multiple problems and you actually don't know what they are. We are still far away. Now, it depends on what exactly is your idea about what you want from the science. What you want from the science. If you're looking for something that is a cure, none of this is relevant. At the moment, there is no cure. So you may say, look, if there's no cure, I will not do the test. Fine. That's the way you look at it. If you're saying, okay, if I get the gene, I can at least prevent it from going to the next generation. Well, that is possible. So you should do that.
Yeah.
So basic thing is, what do you want from science as it exists today? Now, if this some person is asking that I did this test, I spent money, and I got a result which is of no help to me, to this no one can help. But it's also possible that there was a 50% chance that you could have got a result that would have helped prevention. So it's the way you look at it.
Yeah, yes, sir. We need to definitely do the testing.
We have to first know what do we want from the advances. See, villagers come to me, patients all come to me. When villagers come to me, they say, साहब कोई दवा निकलने वाली है तो ही हम कुछ करेंगे, otherwise हम कुछ नहीं करेंगे. Well, they know what they want. You don't have it, fine, they don't do anything. That's okay. It's the lack of clarity between the patient, the healthcare professional, and the relative. Just because tests are available, they are not relevant for everyone. So this clarity is very important for patients as well.
So one more doubt is that, like, suppose my next siblings, we will get them tested, of course. But what about our cousins? Should we go for their testing?
Whoever is of a marriageable age should get tested before marriage.
Like first cousins also?
Yes, it's in the community.
Okay.
This particular gene of calpain is in the community.
Yes, sure.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. So,
sir, I have one query.
Yes.
I belong to Agarwal family. Again, my husband is a muscular dystrophy patient, or he has calipinopathy only.
Yes, it will be. Yeah.
Okay. I have a daughter. If I go for a test, I should go for both bride and groom, both tests. मतलब लड़का लड़की दोनों के टेस्ट होने चाहिए.
Yeah, now see, basically, how old is she?
She is 19.
Right. See, one of the basic rules of genetics is that children should not be tested unless very necessary, because children and their genetic treatment has a lot of ethical issues. So she is beyond 18. So you can ask her, do you want to test yourself? If she says she wants to, then yes, by all means, you do the test. When you do her test, you will know whether she's carrying one bad gene or she's carrying no bad gene. Both are possible. If she's not carrying any bad gene, then the chances that her children will suffer are very few. But if she's carrying one bad gene, then you must check the groom to know whether there is a second bad gene in him. And believe me, we have been doing this exercise for quite a few years now, and a lot of families get benefited. Absolutely. This is genetic prevention. This prevention must be done.
Sir, I want to go for this prevention.
Yeah, absolutely. You, which city are you in?
I'm in Delhi, but I've come to you like 10 years back. I came to Mumbai to
What's the name?
My husband name is Vikas Singhal, and I'm
Okay.
Swati Singhal this side.
Yeah.
I have come to you 10 years back, only because you are specialized in muscular dystrophy.
I don't consider myself specialized, but yes, I work.
No, sir, you are special. I just said which test I should go for. Can you just recommend me that?
Now it is the what we call focused exome, which tests 6,000 genes at a go. Now here we may not need them. Here we may actually need exome, EXOME.
Okay, sir, thank you.
Focused exome.
Okay. And my husband is calipinopathy. Again, we belong to a Agarwal family.
Yeah, it will be the same founder mutation.
So why do we get these genes? Like you told, only Agarwals get this gene.
It started somewhere thousands of years ago, and the gene is carried forward because of the genetic thing.
Okay. We belong to the same Gotra. That is the reason.
See, actually, same is very bad, but all 18 are now so intermixed that Agarwal marrying an Agarwal, there will be a certain risk. But with the genetic testing, you can prevent it now. That benefit you must take.
Yes, I will take that benefit, and I am like active also, and I just want to prevent it also.
Excellent.
Thank you so much, sir, for your great help.
Dr. Satish,
Yes.
I am Vivek Kajaria, one of the trustees of Ayush Kama Foundation. My
Yes.
wife and I had come to meet you, and we met you with Dr. Rajiv Sharma at your clinic.
Right. Oh,
And-
yeah. Of course, yeah.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
I remember.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for remembering. And
Yeah.
my son also has calvanopathy, LGMD2A. And so now he is 28. And so we are thinking of getting him married. So when he gets married and wants to have children, so is there any testing that you think that would be should be done before or
Yeah.
somehow?
Yeah. Now, first of all, I think if the marriage is not yet fixed,
Yes.
then
Not
before fixing, you must get the bride's blood tested. That will give a lot of idea whether they are likely to have children with the problem or less likely to have children with problem. Then if they are likely to have children with problem, then what is called antenatal testing, meaning during pregnancy, 8 to 10 weeks into the pregnancy, some tests can now be done. So those are the two things that can be done.
okay. So if the lady is pregnant 8 to 10 weeks, this antenatal test can show whether the child has got some problem or not.
But before that, you have to do the mother's testing, the bride's test,
All right. Yes.
so that you know what are you looking for in the kid.
Okay.
The more
So
clear
so
you
we
are,
should.
yeah, the bride should be tested before marriage if she is
So
agreeable,
bride tested.
and the grooms also. Yeah.
Yeah, of course, they both should be tested that if they do not have the same genetic defect.
Then the chances are few.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, doctor. Thank you so
Yeah.
much. And
Thank you.
I'm based in Calcutta. Next time I'm going to be in Bombay. I will come
Yeah.
across to meet you once again. Thank you so much.
Certainly. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Dr. Satish, for your valuable time. I think it was really insightful and the questions were answered really well. We would definitely take more questions over mail and I'll ask you for same if possible. And thank you so much for
I
coming
think
with us.
just before leaving,
Yeah,
let me say that
sure.
this is a fantastic initiative, and you must carry this forward. And I think patient groups are the strength.
Yes.
Please appreciate it. It's not the medical groups. It is not the research group. The patient groups which are the drivers. So please do go ahead. All the very best to all of you.
Ma'am, one question is,
Thank you so much, sir. Yeah, I think one person is asking.
Yes.
We can take one question. Sure.
sir, I am suffering from limb-girdle muscular dystrophy, sir. From last
Which muscular
15 years.
dystrophy?
limb-girdle muscular dystrophy,
हाँ, yeah.
LGMD.
Yes.
सर जैसे मैं अभी व्हील चेयर में हूँ सर, यानी कि मैं सर अभी कोचिंग्स लेता हूँ, ट्यूशंस पढ़ाता हूँ बच्चों को, so that I can make my brain busy as much as I can do.
Very happy.
Okay, sir. And
Very happy. Yeah.
And literally, sir, and I. Sir, may I have your email ID so that I can ask some questions regarding related?
Yeah,
I'm
sure.
actually
You can
very
give us
poor
your
on that. Yeah.
give us
I'm
your
very
mail
lazy
ID.
on-
We will
I'm
try
very-
and
I'm
get
very
it done.
lazy on that.
It's
Too many
okay.
things
It's okay.
going on. Too many.
Yeah.
Actually, sir, क्या है अभी
But
कभी
Can
आज
I
तक
make one comment?
yeah
One comment. See, physical disability is really nothing much when you have a strong mind.
yes sir
Because
minus
it's the
plus.
mind. It's the mind that's doing 90% of the thing. This body
Yeah.
is just following.
Yes sir.
Like one of my patients with limb-girdle muscular dystrophy crafted all the dresses for one of the heroines in famous movies. Now
Sir.
he can't. He's on a wheelchair, but his brain is there. So I think in muscular dystrophy, nothing happens to that. So I think that's the thing. Much more fortunate than people with cerebral palsy and mental subnormality where they can't even look after themselves.
Sir, from
Well
last
done.
10, sir, from last 10 years, I am doing physiotherapy regularly, yoga
Excellent.
and breathing exercises.
Good.
Sir, you know, sir, because GM Tauri, sir, from Nagpur SIMS
Of
Hospital.
course,
Sir,
great man.
yeah, sir, he diagnoses me at the age of 22, and right now I lost my mother last 3-4 years back. So I am right now. I got married to one woman, but I could not get the issue. I know that अगर मैं इशू लेता हूँ कि आगे कहीं कुछ प्रॉब्लम्स ना हो, बिकॉज सर मैं ये टीचिंग लाइन में हूँ, तो सर आई नो द साइंस रिलेटेड, मेरे को आगे पता है क्या होगा क्या नहीं होगा. सर बस we are hoping that some medicines can come, sir.
Something will come. It's moving. It's moving with a slow pace. These are complex diseases, very complex diseases. You know, when I started 30-40 years ago, I never thought that we'll even reach this point. Everything looked so much bleaker, but it's so much better now. Another few years and something will come. We have to be optimistic. That's the only way to be.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Glad to talk with you, sir. So nice that you have given the precious time to our patients.
No, it's my pleasure. All the very best. Take care.
Okay.
Thank you very much for asking
Good
me
afternoon,
to be
sir.
here.
Thank you, sir.
So before you sign off, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Sorry, who?
Shifali.
Oh, how are
Shifali.
you? How are you? I saw your name. How are you?
Yeah, no, I have a next one. That's
Yeah.
why.
Yeah.
So you're going to talk, yeah?
Yeah.
Yes.
Dr. Shefali ma'am will be talking about the management
Yes,
of.
she's absolutely terrific. You must listen. Absolutely terrific
Nice.
speaker, a great doctor. Fantastic.
That's great.
Very
So,
nice. Very nice seeing you.
Thank you, sir.
so let's move ahead, and we have. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Dr.
Thank you.
Satish.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.